During World War II, the United States faced the challenge of creating innovative strategies to protect troops and secure victory throughout the world. From sniffing out explosives to delivering messages and aiding in search and rescue missions, dogs became unsung heroes of the war. World War II was the first time that dogs were formally introduced into the U.S. military, which led to the development of the Canine Corps, an undeniable contribution to the United States and their allies winning the war. This documentary explores the origins, training, and impact of the Canine Corps, showcasing how its development not only enhanced military operations but highlighted the rights and responsibilities these dogs had to their fellow soldiers, the war effort, and the entirety of our great nation.
Interest in the use of dogs became piqued in 1935 when the Marine Corps realized how useful they could be in unknown territory after their success as sentries in the jungles of Central America. The spotlight is on World War II, but it's worth noting that World War I, its predecessor, also had a connection to mutts. The Germans had immense advantages with their military canines during the war, but on the American side, the most important dog was a pit bull mix, nicknamed Stubby for his short tail, and was the first and only dog to be promoted to sergeant. During boot camp, a recruit by the name of John Robert Conroy found Stubby on a field at Yale University. When the time came to head overseas to France, Conroy made the decision not to leave him behind and smuggled him in his coat for the journey. Eventually, the beloved mutt became the unofficial mascot of the 102nd Infantry, 26th Division. Sergeant Stubby proved himself useful as he is credited to saving his fellow comrades from a deadly mustard gas attack. He came home safely as a war hero and forever etched his paws in history.
When World War II officially started after the invasion of Poland on September 1, 1939, the U.S. was not planning to join the war due to the public resistance and the Neutrality Acts. This stayed the case until the tragic Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii on December 7, 1941.
I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese.
This was when the nation decided it was time to lend a paw to their European allies. However, as America suited up to fight, it was known that the U.S. was the only major power without a real working force of military dogs. Dogs for Defense was an organization that in World War I tried to create a place for dogs on the battlefield, but their attempts were denied. Aline Erlanger, Dogs for Defense's founder, tried again in World War II, but this time was successful. On March 13, 1942, the U.S. Army named Dogs for Defense the authorized agency for canine recruitment and training. Due to the efforts being made by Erlanger and her program, Lieutenant Colonel Clifford C. Smith, Chief of the Plant Protection Branch, Inspection Division, Quartermaster Corps, met with his commander, Major General Edmund B. Gregory, and suggested the use of these dogs at supply ports. The general agreed, starting the beginnings of the Canine Corps.
Canine Corps was the first of its kind in the U.S. military, as dogs were never used by our armed forces in America before. In the first stages of the war, many civilians donated their beloved pets in the name of patriotism and contribution to the war effort through organizations like Dogs for Defense and the Doberman Pinscher Club of America. All breeds and sexes were accepted, but eventually the Dogs for Defense became more selective of which dogs they would accept into their training. Preferred dogs were German Shepherds and Doberman Pinschers for their excellent versatility and loyal, protective nature. Training lasted 6 weeks, where they would be divided by jobs: scout, messenger, or infantry. Scout dogs' responsibility was to explore with their handler and notify the possibility of explosives or enemies. Messenger dogs' job was to do exactly what their name implies: deliver messages and supplies. Infantry dogs were alerts of danger for their human counterparts.
First, we visit an outpost position where the silent scout dog is used to detect and give silent warning of any foreign presence, such as the sneaky character cautiously moving amid those palmettos. This movement alerts our war dog, who's able to detect ambushes or infiltration long before they can be discerned by human or mechanical means. Soundless as the night and naturally adapted to stealth, the silent scout dog leads his master to a position behind the hidden enemy. Tojo, meanwhile, has his sniper's eyes on some of our boys and is getting set to knock them off. But the silent scout dog has already cornered the rat. Master and dog take cover. A prearranged signal directs our own deadly rifle fire to the exact spot where the enemy is hidden. Tojo loses by a quick KO. And the silent scout dog supplied the initial power.
Their warning is what allowed the Pacific camps to stay protected. Throughout the war, the Japanese never ambushed any of the war dog platoons. As the first lieutenant for the Marines, William R. Putney served with the 1st Dog Platoons and is recognized for his role as the on-site veterinarian in Guam. His experience shows not only did dogs ensure soldiers' physical safety, but they also brought mental comforts. Soldiers could sleep peacefully knowing they had someone watching over their back, even when they were the most vulnerable.
One of the most impactful mutts from the Canine Corps was Chips, a German Shepherd, part of the 3rd Infantry Division. He is credited saving his handlers' lives when he noticed an enemy machine gun nest in Italy and broke away to take it down. He was wounded but luckily survived. Private John Rowell recalls the event saying, "I saw one Italian soldier come out with Chips at his throat. 3 others followed, holding their hands above their heads."
In addition to their critical role in detecting enemy presence, these dogs were tasked with the responsibility of protecting soldiers on the front lines. Their keen senses not only provided an early warning for a pending danger, but also led them to patrol the perimeter of first defense trenches, adding an extra layer of security for the troops. This protective instinct often led to life-saving interventions where dogs' alertness can mean the difference between life and death of a soldier. The benefits these dogs provided extended beyond physical safety. Military dogs were also held responsible for the mental well-being of soldiers, their presence often helping to combat loneliness and anxiety, fostering a sense of normalcy amid the chaos of war. Soldiers could find moments of peace and comfort, knowing that a loyal dog was always watching over them. This bond improved the morale of the military force, making combat challenges more bearable for soldiers. Tragically, the cost of war also extended to these brave animals. Many dogs lost their lives in the line of duty, with countless others injured and traumatized by the experiences they endured. In recognition of their service and sacrifice, a cemetery in Nam was established to honor these fallen heroes. Here, the remains of dogs who served alongside their human counterparts are laid to rest, a potent reminder of their bravery and the deep bond formed between soldiers and the canine protectors through the Canine Corps.
Over 20,000 dogs were enlisted during the war, and with varying numbers and blurring accounts, most returned to their home in the States. Many of the dogs were retrained for civilian life and returned to their families, while others stayed with their handlers. In August of 1945, the War Dogs platoons disbanded, but their work did not. In the Vietnam War, canines are accredited to saving over 10,000 soldiers' lives, to the point where they became a target for the enemy. Veteran Fred Cobb says, "We knew that unlike other soldiers, we at least had our dog with us so that we would never be alone."
I would say that Shep was probably, and the other 2 dogs that I handled were probably the best partners that I could have to go to work.
During 9/11, dogs worked tirelessly, even saving a person alive 27 hours after the attack. Following that, they worked for months recovering bodies from the wreckage while fires still smoldered. Modern-day police, firefighters, search and rescue teams, and many more fundamental first response groups use dogs today, all because of the Corps' success.
Through upholding the given responsibilities these dogs have been assigned through the enlistment of Canine Corps, these furry soldiers contributed significantly to the safety and effectiveness of military operations, indirectly upholding the rights of soldiers and civilians by ensuring their protection and well-being in challenging circumstances. Their service was a testament to the bond between humans and dogs, highlighting how animals can play a critical role in upholding human rights and safety during times of conflict. The start of the Canine Corps may have introduced dogs into the military, but its impact reached far beyond that and continues to do so today.